So we've learned that point source polluters, such as chemical companies, have to get an MPDES. So they have to get a permit through the National Pollutant Discharge and Elimination System. And that permit is making sure that they're not putting too much pollutants into the water body in comparison to all the other polluters of that water body, based on the total maximum daily load, the TMDL. But what about us? And by us, I mean you and me, humans. We make wastewater all the time. We flush the toilet, we run the sink, we take showers, we run the dishwasher. Where does our water go? Because you and I are not filling out wastewater permits. You know, the average American is using 90 gallons of water a day. That's a lot of water, but where is it going? And why don't we have to get permits? So it can go to two places, and it really depends on where you live. So if you live in a more urbanized or suburban area, then some of your water is more than likely going to a wastewater treatment plant. This is an overview picture of a wastewater treatment plant. These treatment plants are taking all of the wastewater from your home, no matter what it's from, whether it's the toilet, the shower, washing machine, etc. And it's the responsibility of the wastewater treatment plant to get that permit. They have to go through the whole NPDES system. This table is just an example of what their NPDES looks like. For example, total phosphorus and nitrogen, so different nutrient demands, how much they're allowed to have, how much they're allowed to waste, how much chlorine, what the pH looks like. So they are the ones that are keeping track of our waste, and they have to get the permit system, and they have to get rid of the nitrogen and the phosphorus to make sure that it's in compliance before it enters a water body. Now this is only some people though, maybe about 75%. The other 25%, these are typically people who are living in rural areas. These guys are not connected to a wastewater treatment system. Instead, all of their wastewater goes into a septic tank. So this is showing here's all the water drainage from the house, and this septic tank, which is hard to tell in this picture, is underground. So the septic tank is underground, and these tubes, it shows it kind of midway, but this tube is really at the top of the septic tank. So the way this works is all the stuff goes through your drains, and all the solids are going to settle down to the bottom. So all your poop, if you're throwing things like toilet paper and things like that into your toilet, it's all going to go to the septic tank, and it's going to sink to the bottom. Now typically septic tanks have lots and lots of bacteria in them, good bacteria. Bacteria that'll break this stuff down and break it into a more liquidy form. That liquid is going to drain off the top of this septic tank, down this pipe, and into this drain field. And you see there's more pipes here. These pipes are kind of open pipes, almost like a mesh, so that the water travels through them and then releases liquids out of them as they move along there. So you're kind of scattering that liquid over the yard. That water is naturally going to be pulled downward, and Earth has a pretty good cleaning system. It's going to naturally clean out the waste that were in your body or you washed off in the shower or washed off of your plates. Now, if you ever had a septic tank or watched Dirty Jobs, septic tanks can back up if you're not taking care of them. So making sure that they're getting emptied, that there's enough bacteria in them. If it floods, it's gross because when this part floods, instead of this water going down, it goes up. So again, you see this more in the rural area just because they're not connected to city water. Now this doesn't talk about stormwater drains though. Stormwater drains are what you see in parking lots and on the side of roads. Maybe you'll see it on a sidewalk. So these are, for example, in this picture, here's a drain here, here's a drain here. These are stormwater drains. So wastewater is referring to what comes from residential areas. Stormwater is referring to public drains, so to speak. These systems are not treated. Wastewater is treated. Wastewater goes to a wastewater treatment plant or goes through a septic system. However, stormwater is not treated. So in this picture, it's showing here's a rainstorm. This rainstorm is washing off the roof, washing off your driveway, washing off the road, going into a storm drain, and that storm drain enters a body of water, untreated. You're like, well, it's just rainwater. That's fine. In some areas, yeah, maybe it is just rainwater, but usually this is runoff from a pervious surface, a pervious human surface. It's running off of concrete. Maybe it's a parking lot where oil is. Maybe it's your yard where you had some trash left out. So this is another reason why it's incredibly important to lower the amount of impervious surface we have, but also just making sure you're picking up after yourself, because this water goes untreated and goes directly into the local waterway. There are some typically older cities that will combine their sewer or their wastewater and stormwater systems, which is really cool because that means their stormwater is getting filtered. So to show you what this looks like, here we have a residential building. Here's all their wastewater, and it goes down and down, and it's going to go to a wastewater treatment plant. If there's any water in the road, it actually joins these same pipes as the wastewater, goes down, 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 and wastewater treatment plant. So combined sewer and stormwater system is really awesome in the sense that it treats all water, whether it's wastewater or stormwater. Now, this sounds great, and you may think, well, why don't we just do this with everything? The problem is that our wastewater treatment plants cannot handle all of that water, especially during a rain event. So this is showing, here's a rain event, here's residential water still going down, and the storm drains are getting backed up because there's lots and lots of water entering them, so the storm water goes down. Now we, as governments and locals, we've created a fail-safe in case our wastewater treatment systems are getting too backed up. And what we have here is this outfall past a small little dam. If there's way too much water in the system, then this water is going over this dam and is going to enter directly into a river. Doesn't sound too bad, but keep in mind the water that is going over this dam and into this body of water is both the storm drain, so the rainwater, and human waste. Human waste is going into this water body. That's disgusting. In the DC area, about a third, in the actual city of DC, about a third of their wastewater treatment system is a combined sewer system. So drive across the Roosevelt Bridge right after a heavy rain, you're going to smell poop. Literally, you'll smell poop. And that's human poop because about a third of that wastewater is on this kind of system. So it is beneficial in the sense that you are treating wastewater and you're treating stormwater, which is good. But during a heavy rain event, neither get treated and would enter the ecosystem directly. Go ahead and pause here to watch this video that should be popping up. This video is looking at a city that has a combined sewer and stormwater system. And it talks about some of the challenges and pitfalls with having this type of system, because these systems still exist today. So pause here, answer the questions in the weekly guide, and watch this video.